Hello, how's it going? In today's video, I'll be covering the Breath of Rukhmar and Fall of the Apexis. We're finishing Chapter 1 of Chronicle Volume 2, so let's go! The Apexis watched as the Primals approached. Their weapon was not yet finished, and they felt a little bit nervous. A small group of Skalaxi sorcerers stepped up and were like, "Come on guys, turn those frowns upside down." They volunteered to hold the Primals back, whilst the Anhari finished the Breath of Rukhmar. During the battle in Talador, these sorcerers had seen Nalgar, and discovered its ability to guide the actions of the Botani and other creatures. If they could assassinate it, that'd be super awesome cool. The Skalaxi shrouded themselves in shadow and headed to Talador. They soon found Nalgar, but just before they could launch their attack, the Treant sensed their presence. It broke from its trance and quickly disposed of them. But the sorcerers did manage to curse Nalgar. This creeping rot spread through the Treant's roots, and it withered and died. This broke the unity of the Primal army. For a little while, they stood on the edges of ARAK, looking around like, what was I doing again? Where the bloody hell am I? But they soon continued their march. Nalgar's death had only delayed them, but it was enough time for the Arakoa priests to finish their work. Just as Tala reached the spire, the Anhari ignited their weapon. The spire trembled as fierce energy roared through the weapon. Fire launched from the mechanism and speared through the Sporeman's chest, blowing it apart. They turned the weapon onto the Primals, incinerating thousands of Botani, Gnarled and Genesaur in the blink of an eye. The remaining Primals ran away, or they tried to. The Arakoa showed no mercy, engulfing the fleeing Primals in flames. This victory permanently blunted the might of nature. A new golden age of mortal civilization dawned on Draenor. Centuries later, the Apexis had grown into a mighty empire. With nothing to threaten them, they devoted themselves to the advancement of science and magic. Knowledge became the most coveted resource. The Anhar and Skalax orders became the caretakers of wisdom. Rather than keeping this knowledge in scrolls or tomes like normal people, they developed crystalline storage devices. All you had to do was touch a crystal, and you'd absorb all the knowledge stored within. Sounds handy. They built mechanical constructs that could do their bidding. The Apexis were still pretty arrogant, and they believed groundwalkers were unclean. So they'd send the constructs to mine the earth and gather resources from the ground. Religion also defined the Apexis. The Anhari priests built a sun temple around the Breath of Rukhmar. Other Arakoa would visit shrines carved into the rock near the foot of the spire. There, sorcerers would perform rituals to honour Anzu, and everything was dandy. Until everything was not dandy. The Anhari knew that knowledge is power, so their leader, Priest Lord Velthreek, told his followers to gather as many of the Apexis crystals as they could. They secretly hoarded the crystals and stored them within the Sun Temple. The Skalaxi leader, Sorcerer Lord Salavas, discovered what was happening and wasn't happy. The Skalaxi believed knowledge was just a basic right for all Arakoa, so Salavas demanded the immediate release of the crystals. Velthreek was like, nah. He declared the Anhari the sole rulers of the Apexis. They would decide who could access the crystals. Salavas was pretty smart. He'd seen that one coming, so he ordered his followers to attack the temple and take the crystals by force. For many months, a civil war erupted. The battle had started at the top of the spire, but had spread and now engulfed every corner of Apexis civilization. The Anhari decided to use the Breath of Rukhmar against their enemies to turn the tide of the battle. As they ignited the weapon, the Skalaxi were like, well, that ain't good. So Salavas led a handful of his most gifted sorcerers to the top of the spire. When they reached the weapon, Salavas wove a spell to destabilise the mechanism. It worked, but not very well. It bloody exploded. Most of the Arakoa on the spire were instantly killed, and the land was shattered. The spire split into numerous smaller stone towers, and the surrounding land was left barren. In time, it became known as the Spires of ARAK. It would take a bloody long time for life to bloom in the area again, and even longer for the Arakoa to recover. The Apexis society was no more, but from its ashes, new cultures would arise. And we're leaving it there! So, Chapter 2 is called Children of Stone, and it leads right up to the Dark Portal, which is great, as it means we'll have covered all of the historical stuff, and we can start looking at the events of Warcraft 1 and 2. Slightly insane though, isn't it? All of the videos I've done on Chronicle 1 and 2, and we still haven't even reached Warcraft 1. If you enjoyed this video, press the like button, leave a comment, subscribe if you're not already, all of that sort of stuff. But all that's left to say is, thanks very much for watching, and see ya!